All right, hey there, students. I know you're working really hard. You're reading. Hopefully, you're enjoying the book. Uh, you know, there's lots of things to talk about. There may be things that you maybe have questions about, and so I just want to show you something. It's kind of a way for us to have like a conversation without actually having a conversation because, well, you know why. So if you just click on distance learning here on your distance learning folder, and you go down to Unit 2 to Kill a Mockingbird, this is an ungraded assignment. You can kind of see on mine right here, it says questions for To Kill a Mockingbird. But it's due on May 27th. It's worth 0 points. But it's kind of a nice way for you to ask me questions that I can respond to in a Google Doc. And then, your question can be answered. And for some of you, I know a lot of times for me as a teacher, when I go to like in services or if I have to go to a professional development, I learn a lot just from other people's questions. And some questions are like, whatever, but you always learn something, and so if you click on your questions here for To Kill a Mockingbird, it's pretty plain and simple. You just ask a question and the sentence here tells you what to do. I'll go to preview, how it looks for you, sorry. So in the preview here, please ask questions here that you have on To Kill a Mockingbird. No one will know who wrote it besides me, your teacher. I will answer all the questions in a Google Doc linked here. And so some good examples of questions is Scout a boy or a girl? I'll give you the answer. She's a girl. All right, some of you guys still think she's a boy. She's a girl, right? Her name is Jean Louise Finch. Her dad is Atticus. Her brother is Jem. And Dill really likes her. Another one, can you explain who Calpurnia is? I'm lost with who she is. Calpurnia is the cook for the Finches. She's the maid. She lives in the poor area of town, and she is the motherly figure to Scout and Jem. We can tell that Atticus thinks highly of her because he doesn't judge her on her race as she watches over his children while he is working. We can infer that Atticus is a man of integrity. He talked about that great quote, one of my favorite quotes of all time. You never really understand a person until you walk a mile in their skin. I'm sure I didn't say that right because I don't have it in front of me, but it's a great thing. When we can take our time to reflect on how someone else is acting, it makes it a lot easier. It doesn't mean that we uh, can agree with it, but I think a lot of times it helps us maybe understand why they're acting that way. A really good example, maybe one of your family members. I'll give you an example, like you know, I'll give you an example. Someone in my church sometimes frustrates me because they gloat about like all these great things that they're doing, and it annoys me because I don't really feel like you have to tell people you're a good person, right? Um, but when I take that time and I reflect on that quote, you never really understand a person till you walk a mile in their skin. I didn't say it right, but you know what I'm saying, right? Uh, it's really, really important, And when I can reflect on that, and I think about that, it doesn't mean that I agree with the actions, but at least I can understand maybe why they act that way. And sometimes, maybe like 1% of the time, I just can't even understand why. But I would be willing to bet that 99% of the time, there's probably a reason why. And it's a great quote. So any questions that you have, you'll just submit the question in like a quiz form. It's like your multiple choice. You just put the question in there, and then I'll link it to this Google Doc. And I'm not going to repeat questions. So obviously, if I get the same question 17 times, I'm just going to answer it once. But I'll go in here in this doc, and every day I'll go in here in the morning, and I'll look for any questions that you have in the test, and then I'll go and I'll link it to this doc. And so I just put in 2 questions here that I already answered. Any question that you have, this would be a great way. You won't feel embarrassed, and then you can learn from other people's questions. And I think that this is a better than a full out discussion thread where you have to respond to everything 17 times. So let me know if you need any assistance on it. It won't be graded. You don't have to do it, but I sure think it'll be a great thing for you to do. All right, guys. Other than that, keep working hard. That's all the work. I'm only going to give you that one assignment this week for the social class. And then, of course, on Monday, May 18th, I think that's the day, May 18th, we'll get ready to take our next quiz on chapters 7 through 18. All right. Have a good one. Bye.